Have you noticed the number of candidates who apply for one job position? There are hundreds and in many cases thousands of applications that reach companies for one job position. In this situation, how will you ensure that you get selected over the hundreds or thousands of people who have applied? This is what I will tell you. So listen very carefully and take notes if necessary. What I will tell you now will help you to achieve two things. Number one, to get shortlisted for the interview, and number two, to become one of the best candidates for that job position. When so many CVs reach the employer, it becomes really tough for them to shortlist the right candidates. But your CV can become one of the best CVs which reach them. So let us get to know what you need to do to ensure that you achieve these two objectives of getting shortlisted and also becoming one of the best candidates in the interview. Let's say that you've gone for an interview and there are 10 candidates. You are one of them. All 10 candidates have a similar experience, background, education, but there is a difference. You are different. You are different in many ways. I will tell you 5 points on how you are different from the other 9 candidates. So listen carefully. First point, you have completed 2 specialized courses on the subject of your domain. What does that mean? For example, if you are in finance and your specialization is in mergers and acquisitions, you have completed 2 courses on the subject of mergers and acquisitions. Or for example, if your specialization or work domain is in retail management, you have completed 2 courses on retail management. Second point, you have read at least 5 books on the subject of your work domain. In the mergers and acquisitions specialization example, the person in finance has read 5 books on the subject of mergers and acquisitions. And in the retail management example, this person has read 5 books on the subject of retail management. Third point, you have read and analyzed at least 10 business case studies on the subject of your domain. So in the finance example, you have read and analyzed at least 10 business cases on mergers and acquisitions. And in the second example on retail management, you have read and analyzed at least 10 business cases on retail management. Fourth point, you have been following and reading articles on specialized websites related to your domain, and you've also been following news and other information related to your work domain and your industry. What does this mean? Again, in terms of finance, the example that I've given you, that person is following these specialized websites on mergers and acquisitions, is trying to learn about the industry and events and happenings in his or her domain or industry. And then similarly in the retail management example, this person is working on finding out more about what's happening in his or her work domain as well as in the industry of retail management. Fifth point, you have been watching videos on subject knowledge, on events, on interviews, etc. related to the subject of your work domain. What it means is, in the mergers and acquisitions example, you've been watching a lot of videos on mergers and acquisitions, you've been following events on mergers and acquisitions, and you have been also watching interviews of people who are in that particular domain. Or in the retail management example, similarly, you are following these different videos and events and watching interviews, say on YouTube or other such video sharing platforms where you can learn a lot from these videos. So you've been spending a lot of time learning through videos as well. So you have done these 5 things. The other 9 candidates have not. Now ask yourself these questions. First question, who has the best CV? Think about it. In your CV, you have mentioned that you have completed 2 specialized courses. That's part of your education or learning. Secondly, you've also mentioned maybe in your hobbies that you have read many books on your subject of your work domain, and you have also been reading case studies, business cases on the subject of your work domain, and you've been following the news, the industry related aspects, the events, all of these things you can somehow mention in the CV in various sections, whether it's hobbies, in some cases it's achievements, or in the case of the courses, the 2 specialized courses that you've done, of course you've mentioned it under the education section of your CV. Next question. Who has the highest amount of knowledge in the subject of the work domain? Obviously you do, because you've learned so much, you've read so much, you've done courses, so you already have the highest amount of knowledge on that particular subject. Third question. Who is the most aware about the happenings in the industry related to the work domain or the subject? Again, you are the one who is most aware, because you've been following these events, you've been following the news, so you are absolutely aware of what's going on, not only in your domain but in the industry in which you are about to work. Fourth question. Who has the best knowledge about the past business cases? Again, you are the person who know it, because you studied all these business cases. So, who is the most well prepared and the best candidate for the job position that you've applied for? Obviously, after all this that you've done, you are the best candidate, or perhaps one of the best candidates in that particular interview for that job position. Do these 5 things and you will blow away your competition in any interview. You will find many videos in my YouTube channel that will help you to build a successful career and achieve your goals. By the way, more detailed videos on these 5 points that I've mentioned in this video are coming up in my next videos. So stay tuned, because I will detail all of these 5 points right from the specialized courses, what are the courses, where you can do it from, etc. To all of these different points, the 5 points that I've told you, I'll make more detailed videos on each of these. So go ahead and click on the subscribe button and hit the bell icon beside it to get notified on my next videos that I will publish in the coming days and weeks. All the best for your interviews.